me just get this in nice and early. This is a video about Jesse Lingard potentially coming to West Ham, how it might affect a relationship between us and Manchester United, them not having a manager, and also a bit of David Moyes possibly being of interest to Manchester United. I only say this because last time I did the Jesse Lingard video, a couple of people said, why are you talking about this again? I can't believe you're talking about this. So I just want to make it clear now, this is what the video's about. If you don't want to hear about that, don't watch the video anymore. I'm going to put it in the title. Hopefully you haven't clicked on it. But the last thing I want anybody to do is get to the end of this video and think, I thought this video was going to be about Zuma. You know, I thought this video was going to be about the Europa League. It's not. It's about Jesse Lingard. There we go. Now we've got that little disclaimer out of the way. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjær got sacked. Regular watchers of this channel will know I've been expecting that and sort of both expecting and fearing it for quite some time. I cannot believe it lasted as long as it did. Let's be perfectly honest. He was useless. And he'd not really shown any form massively before he got the caretaker's manager's job at Manchester United. I mean, what was he, at Cardiff as well, if I remember rightly? I mean, it's just not... I think he's a lovely guy, by the way, but he just doesn't get it. And when I saw his interview after the 4-1 defeat to Watford, the interviewer asked him why they'd played so badly. And his answer was something like, well, they're human beings, unfortunately. This is what you're dealing with human beings. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. I thought, oh, mate, you know, I just knew then. I thought even Edward Woodward, who's obviously going to be making a decision ultimately at Manchester United, even the Manchester United hierarchy, you're going to be looking at this thinking, mate, you can't speak like that. I'm not saying they're not human beings. Clearly they are. Medically, they are human beings, biologically in every sense of the word. But they're also elite professional footballers, and you should be able to collectively put together Cristiano Ronaldo and Jadon Sancho and Fernandes and Harry Maguire and players like this and make them a cohesive unit. So clearly the problem was with the manager. Actually, just before I get onto the subject at hand, this video is going to be a bit longer than I thought, because Harry Maguire, I didn't say this because we had sort of been covering the England games on this channel a little bit. And then we sort of have... I just think after the Europa Championships got a bit boring, to be perfectly honest with you. But Harry Maguire, when he scored and he slid across on his knees and cupped his ears like that, it was apparently... okay, it was clear what it was, right? People have been talking trash about Harry Maguire. People have been questioning his defensive abilities. And I believe you me, whilst I criticise Solskjær, I think everybody's up for criticism in that Man United team, right? It's a bit like West Ham at the weekend. Did David Moyes get some things wrong? Yes, but I do think also the players have got to take their part in that defeat. So I wasn't sure what Harry Maguire was doing, sliding around on his knees, cupping his ears like he'd answered the critics by scoring a goal in a, let's be fair, a barely competitive international match. But what really annoyed me was he was asked about it. They said, "Oh, Harry, who was that a message to?" And he said, nothing. They said, "What was that? What was that celebration all about?" "Oh, it was nothing. Nothing." He said it didn't mean anything. It wasn't a message to anyone. Come on. I mean, there's one thing doing it, but it's another taking everyone for fools. He honestly treats everybody watching like absolute idiots. "Oh, no, there was nothing in there. It was just part of my celebration." I'll tell you what, right? The old band celebration, they're playing the flute and the... Is that the flute? No, that's the flute, isn't it? That's the flute. What is that? We'll go with clarinet, right? Whatever. The band celebration, when West Ham were all having a lovely time pretending that they were all in a band or an orchestra or whatever... That was fun. This from Harry Maguire was clearly the cupped ears, the old Sam Allardyce cupped ears, a message to everybody, and he treats us all for fools, like we're meant to believe that wasn't a message to everyone. Tell you what, Harry, just get on with your defending, mate. Anyway, that was that. Sounds like a bit of a dig against Man United, this video. It's not particularly, by the way, although it might sound like that. Okay, so onto the Jesse Lingard situation, and we're in a position where he'd start making noises, certainly via his advisors or his brother or whatever, that he might want to come back. His brother obviously did the tweet or the Instagram post, which covered the other day, where he was basically suggesting that West Ham fans hadn't given his brother, Jesse, enough love. We covered that. But then the suggestion was he did want to come back to West Ham. Now, I'd looked at his options that we covered. I didn't think he's got a massive number of options if he wants to compete at the top half of the Premier League. It then gets leaked he's not going to sign a new contract after I did that video the other day. Whatever happens, he ain't signing a new deal. So that alerts everybody, right? Alerts everybody to the situation. But this has thrown a massive spanner in the works, I think. Initially, I thought that anyway. When I say this, I mean the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjær. Because Solskjær wasn't letting him he wasn't really, I know he came on a substitute, but he's not really featured much, has he? So I think initially, I thought, is a new manager coming in, does that scupper our chances? Well, yes, it does. But then they announced that they're not going to hire a manager until next season. I bet they're gutted they missed out on Conte, by the way. If they'd have just made that a decision that was obvious, by the way, that Solskjaer wasn't good enough, they would have ended up with a much better manager in there anyway. And I was worried that when they sacked Solskjaer, that it would mean someone else would come in and West Ham couldn't finish above Man United. I don't know. I know lots about Michael Carrick as a player. How good is he going to be leading the team? I really don't know. But I would suggest we're still in with a chance of finishing above them. You would expect they will get more of a tune out of the players than Solskjaer did, certainly. Listen, by the way, if you want to read any more about this, there's tons of stories on the One Football app about Jesse Lingard, about West Ham, about who West Ham are going to sign if they don't sign Jesse Lingard, about Manchester United coveting David Moyes again. We'll discuss that in a second. It's the One Football app. It's full of all the news, but if you're just a West Ham fan, when you download it, please do use the link below. You click that you're a West Ham fan, and it'll put all the West Ham news into one place. I keep pointing at that. I'm not pointing at my feet, by the way. I'm pointing at the link under the screen, which takes you to the One Football app. Best of all, it's free. All the West Ham news in one place. If you're a Man U fan and you're watching this for some reason, you're probably not anymore, because I've just basically been slagging your club off. But if you are, then you would click that you're a Man United fan, but Man United news into one place for you. That's the One Football app. Anyway, it's very hot on Jesse Lingard stuff. Jesse Lingard is flirting with West Ham. He's pulling up his skirt and he's flashing his knickers at West Ham at the moment. Now, that's all well and good and that's fine, and far be it from me to condone such behaviour, but we were getting told off last week. So I don't know exactly where we are with that. Anyway, the point is Lingard's now got a choice, hasn't he? Okay, so is he going to sign a new contract just because they got rid of Solskjaer? No, because he's still not certain. Lingard doesn't know that the next manager that's going to come in rates him. He doesn't know. So he's still technically in limbo. The best that can happen with Jesse Lingard is that Michael Carrick puts him in the team. All right? But again, Michael Carrick is then in the same situation that Solskjaer was in. Because I'll tell you what, if Lingard's in the team, one of these guys ain't. Let me list them for you. Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo, Fernandes. You don't have them four and Lingard. I'm sorry, it ain't happening. Otherwise, you're going to continue to leak goals. You really are. And I'm pretty sure one of the first things, but particularly bearing in mind he was a holding midfielder by and large, Michael Carrick, who occasionally played towards the end of his career at centre-back. One of the first things he's going to do, as anybody would do, would be to shore up that defence. That's what Man United need, some clean sheets. They'll always be able to score a goal or two. So will he put Lingard in the team? Well, he might do. Is he going to? Are you particularly going to want to? I guess disenfranchise people like Sancho, Rashford, Ronaldo. No, I mean these guys are untouchable, and you've got to try and shoehorn Cavani in the team at some point if you can. You can't drop Fernandes. What does Michael Carrick want? Okay, what does Michael Carrick want? I think because this I think is important. What Man United don't want to do is be in a situation that they were in with Solskjaer, which is the caretaker manager comes in, does such a good job that they have to offer him the job. That's what happened with Solskjaer, by the way, particularly based upon their performance against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, if you remember. However, what does Michael Carrick want? Well, I guess ultimately Michael Carrick will want the job, won't he? That wouldn't be right. Otherwise, he wouldn't. He's obviously a competitive guy. He wouldn't have made it in top-class sport if he wasn't. He's going to have ambition. He'll want the top job. Is this a rehearsal for the top job? I don't know. I'm not so sure. However, even if he doesn't get the top job, what does Michael Carrick want? Well, Michael Carrick is going to want to show enough ability during this time that he either A, gets the assistant manager's job, whoever comes in, be it Pochettino or whoever, or B, he shows enough that actually somebody, maybe a championship club, think actually he did really well as a caretaker manager at Man U, will make him our new manager. I tell you what did make me laugh, by the way. What really made me laugh was Sky Sports, when they were running their banner at the bottom of the Sky Sports News. It said, Sky Sports News understands that Wayne Rooney would definitely be interested in the Manchester United role if it was offered to him. I thought, why is that news? And what I was waiting for was a banner directly to follow it saying, Sky Sports News understands that Manchester United have no interest in offering Wayne Rooney the manager's role at Old Trafford. I just found it a funny one. They ran it as news, like Rooney was going to get, like his job at Derby has been so stellar that he's going to get the Man United job. They have made mistake after mistake after mistake, that club. They need to get a new manager in. They've ballsed it up with Conte. They really have. But anyway, neither here nor there. Another guy that... Anyway, sorry, before I get on to David Moyes, because that's another guy they ballsed it up with, by the way. So this is the situation Carrick's in. What's he going to do with Lingard? Well, I think it's going to be much the same. I think Lingard might get to play a little bit more, but here's the question for Lingard: is it going to happen at Man U to persuade him to sign a new contract? I just don't think it is. So here's the point: he's got an option. Is he going to try and push through a January move where Man United get a bit of money? Right? I don't know. Man United might know who they want to appoint. I don't think they do, by the way. I think they've left it all very, very late, and I think they're scrambling around trying to find somebody. And let's be fair, if PSG win the Champions League, they ain't even getting Pochettino because he'll stay there for another season. The guy at Ajax apparently is someone that's of interest to them. But unless they get word from whoever they know they're going to appoint that, oh yes, I want Lingard in the team, and Lingard gets assurances that you've had first team place, he's not going to sign a new contract. He's going to want to agitate for a move in January, and they'll take some money for him. The best that can happen is, and this is the very best, he gets into the team, Carrick drops, choose your player, Rashford, Sancho, whatever, right? And Jesse Lingard plays in the team. He's still not going to sign a new deal because he's still in limbo, because he still doesn't know if the new manager fancies him or not. I would suggest that Jesse Lingard's contract will expire before the new manager's taken his first day of training. How's that work? So actually, initially, when I thought, hold on, this might not be bad news, I'm not sure an awful lot's changed, apart from it's thrown a little bit more confusion into it. I don't know. Be interested to know what you think, apart from if you're right, what you're talking about Jesse Lingard again for. I'm not interested in that comment. I don't care. I gave you a disclaimer at the start. Shouldn't still be watching now. Anyway, sorry, I'm only having a bit of fun. Okay, so finally it's the David Moyes thing. Okay, David Moyes, apparently, I read this story, and when I read the story yesterday, I thought, well, that's old nonsense. That David Moyes was of interest to Manchester United. Now, look, let's get this right. Had David Moyes never have been to Manchester United, so let's just expunge that part of history from his record, right? Had that never have happened, would Manchester United be interested? Yes, I think they would. He'd done really well at Everton. He'd have repeated and replicated that model at West Ham, and Man United might be looking and thinking, oh, here's a guy who can get a tune and make players better, and so on and so forth. And you'd even say, take the last game out of it at West Ham, can play exciting attacking football. Okay, but that is removing the history, isn't it? Actually, if you put the history back in, there's no way they're going to offer him the manager's job back in. I would imagine, how long has he not... I think he might have signed a 6-year contract, right? I haven't done it. I wouldn't be surprised, though, that Manchester United was still paying David Moyes until very recently. You're going to get the right if you've been paying someone for 6 years. He's only worked one of them, and anyway, whatever. They got it wrong. The biggest admission, I would imagine, the David Moyes thing is embarrassing to Manchester United. Because, let's be fair, Sir Alex Ferguson appointed David Moyes as his successor. Nobody's worked out. And it hasn't. Okay, actually, arguably, maybe Mourinho did for short term. He won 2 trophies. Did he win the UEFA Cup and the League Cup? Something like that. That may have been the case. Okay. Aside from that, which is not really what they want. They want the league and they want the Champions League. But you know what I'm saying. I don't think it's been wholly successful. I think it's probably quite embarrassing for Man United. They let David Moyes go, and David Moyes has made West Ham better than Manchester United, because that's what it is now. At this precise point in time, that's the case. It's already embarrassing enough for them. I don't think they would want to further cement their embarrassment, let's say, by reappointing him, thus admitting they definitely got it wrong. Wouldn't that... Well, it wouldn't be funny because it means he'd leave West Ham, but David Moyes, it's already happened to him, because David Sullivan's already once admitted that he got it wrong and appointed David Moyes for a second time. cannot see Edward Woodward's reappointing the Moyes sire, or do we say the Moyes sire? The moist sire. We don't say that either, do we? Really? Anyway. So to come to the conclusion on this one, David Moyes isn't going to Manchester United. Apparently, the story had gone that that Sullivan had denied Manchester United the opportunity to approach David Moyes. I was really pleased that actually the club have. You don't want the club to say an awful lot, but I'm pleased they came out today and said there's nothing. Hold on, no, we've not. They've not approached us. We've not denied anything. There's nothing like that has happened. So I was quite pleased to see that. I can't remember what newspaper it was, but someone's putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 10. But it was interesting enough. So that's definitely not happening. The Jesse Lingard thing, I think, is status quo, which I guess is an interesting way of wasting 15 minutes to say nothing's changed, particularly if you were expecting this video to be about Kurt Zouma. But there you go. I don't know. I think it's really, really interesting. I think the biggest argument is still what somebody wrote on the comments. Comment I did like, actually, when they said, hold on, you've not considered something, Gonzo, and that is that Man United are not going to want to sell to somebody that's a rival for a top 4 place. Yeah, good argument, and yeah, I like that one. I think anybody else, even if they get 10 million for him, 10 million's worth a lot of money to a lot of clubs, right? I think if you turn over 600 million, then maybe it's not quite the same for Man United. I don't know. Look, all I do know is we'll discuss this tomorrow. We'll discuss strikers or something like that, and some of the players we've been linked with. We need to do something on the attacking front in January. We really do. With Benrahma going, as I say, it was actually 3 games, by the way. Antonio's away. They got 3 games, Jamaica. You don't know how he's going to return back from there. And that's our winter break, by the way. I think, if I've got it right, that coincides with West Ham's winter break. So the time when we're meant to be having a rest, he's back out there anyway. So whether, you sort of got the impression if David Moyes did get Jesse Lingard, then he'd do a similar thing to last time. You'd have him playing as the old false number 9 and all that sort of thing. But I think when you look at it, if Antonio, Benrahma and Fornals ain't firing, West Ham ain't firing, basically. So I think we need to do something in the attacking aspect. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting transfer window. I think even the club know now, and particularly we've got a little bit more investment. I think even the club knows something needs to be done. Anyway, actually, I've got a little idea what they might do, but that is another video. Maybe that won't be tomorrow. I don't know. I can't decide. I've done the one football app, haven't I? I keep forgetting. I've not been well the last few days. I've been under me duvet. Not now, obviously. Well, I'm still ill, but I'm not under me duvet now. No one wants to see that video, do they? No one wants to see me doing the West Ham gossip from underneath me duvet. Anyway, sorry, no Zouma news.